Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Striker 49 and he is in the Flint, a tier 7 US cruiser. He is on the map 2 Brothers in a 4-point domination game. So he's top tier, which is amazing. There is a carrier, there are 2 destroyers, and doesn't look like there is radar in the enemy team. Now the Flint has smoke screen, so the absence of radar is obviously amazing. Not that he needs his smoke screen right now, because he has found a nice cozy place here on that island close to the cap, where he can hopefully help defend. There was no opposition in taking this cap, although now an Okotnik has arrived, so we will see about that. I wonder if the Okotnik was just a little bit too late, or if he decided not to enter the cap earlier. Probably just too late, because he doesn't seem to have any problems with trying to cap now. Okotnik also has some pretty good concealment, but that's not very helpful if he's just sailing in front of the guns of an Flint. Ah, he's smoking. Now, we also have enemy battleships here being very aggressive. The friendlies are a little bit more passive, but having a Flint here is obviously a big threat. Damage output of that ship can be quite scary. And so far he hadn't even needed to use his smoke. Of course he doesn't have tools like radar like in Atlanta would. And this might get tricky if the enemy battleships really start pushing here. But the friendly carrier is spotting the Okotnik. And that means that enemy destroyer is in a world of hurt. The Okotnik is a pretty long ship, so it's not the hardest to hit, I guess, although Flint's share travel time is quite high. Well, it looks like the destroyer escaped for now. But the enemy battleships are pushing and that could get tricky. But, well, Flint does have torpedoes. And oh! Okotnik is back. Like, the enemy destroyer should have probably tried to be a little bit more passive there. So down he goes. Now also, Striker could just simply smoke here. I mean, I'm not sure what he's saving his smoke for. Now most of the time he didn't need it because he was in concealment. But once the Okotnik came here and spotted him, he should definitely... Well, he could have smoked. Then again, they might have lost vision on the Okotnik. He also should be smoking right now. I mean, the Normandy here is a very big threat and might have just saved himself from a bit of damage if he just had smoked a little bit earlier. I mean, he is close enough that he can't fire and be undetected in smoke, but I mean, he can launch torps and that's what he wanted to do anyway. And he can take care of the Scharnhorst afterwards. There we go. That's one less Normandy. Also, the Striker doesn't actually have the full possible range in the Flint, let's call it that. So basically he probably doesn't have a 19-point captain. I mean, you need like 18 points for the 3 tier 4 skills that you want in a Flint. Because you want concealment, you want IFHE, and you want the extended range. Now he's lacking the extended range. I would presume he does have IFHE, although I don't know his exact captain build. But yeah, Flint and Atlanta are very captain skill hungry. And missing that extended range is not very nice, because he only has 11.1 kilometers range, and as you can see, none of those ships are actually inside his firing range right now. Which makes this rather awkward. So he can't go sailing out in the open, that's not really very healthy. And well, the Scharnhorst is almost in range, so he's trying to open up there, maybe get a few hits in. But considering the course the Scharnhorst is sailing, he might not stay inside his range for long. There is a fire, that's nice. Meanwhile, the decap is getting overrun by the enemy forces, it looks like. But it's still a rather even match for both sides. Now, the West Virginia here seems to be a little bit well, maybe too passive, let's put it like this. The Sinop is getting rushed by enemy forces. Now the West Virginia is in a perfect position to farm enemy broadsides, right? That's nice. He's positioned that he can create a crossfire here. But if he could be a little bit closer, then his shells would be more likely to hit, which would be good. Now there isn't much left here to do at the A cap. Like there is still a Shanos and a Fiji, but as I pointed out, the range of the Flint is just not that great. So Striker would have to go out in the open. I mean, he could sail into the open there, then smoke up. His smoke is almost ready again. And then try to engage some enemies. Or he could try to relocate and see about helping somewhere else. Now the right side is... well, they are holding their own, I suppose. The enemy team isn't pushing very hard. Now what he could try is he could try to go through the center. Going through the center early on is a very bad idea for the most part. But at this point in the game, he basically knows the position of the enemy forces. So there shouldn't be many surprises. And there's a carrier here, right? So if he goes through here, he can probably farm the carrier. And if too many enemies react, he could probably retreat. And he could maybe pull out some of those enemies out of position. It's suddenly not looking so good anymore. Because it, well, I mean... there are only one ship behind, right? So I guess... still anyone's game.
I need intelligence data.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone here can provide spotting for him. Now, of course, it would be nice if he saw the Ranger, but... I think he is do his own spotting. Now the Ranger is probably in self-defense mode at this point, trying to engage the Flint. But I mean, Flint has good anti-air, defensive fire is doing its best to reduce the enemy planes. And he can dodge that awkward torpedo. Now the problem is that Ranger has positioned himself in a way that he has very little way towards the enemy, but that also means he's in a position where he can't run away. The Ranger is lacking like any sort of cover and he is not fast enough to get away from here. So now all the Ranger can do is hope to sink this Flint, otherwise he's just getting himself farmed here. Now on the left side, the friendlies took care of the Charm Horse. There is a Fiji there, but let's hope that the West Virginia can take care of that. The Hatsuharu is coming this way to help out. And well, the right flank is basically non-existent at this point, so the enemy has a bit of a ship lead there. But the friendlies should sink this Ranger soon. The Fiji is hopefully going down against the West Virginia. Probably depends on the West Virginia's RNG and if the Fiji manages to get torps in. On the right side, I'm not having high hopes for that Lyon. He's slightly outnumbered. But down goes the carrier. And he got one last torp off, and unfortunately that's going to be a hit. But, you know, Flint is still floating. And Striker still has some smoke ready, if needed. So, the battle between the West Virginia and the Flint is still ongoing, so... oh, wait, there is a Shinonome coming in here. That looks like a suicide rush, but you know... Flint does have some crazy DPM, so... yeah. And I don't see any torps. Like, if you're trying to suicide rush with a torpedo destroyer, make sure that you got your torps ready, otherwise it's just a suicide.
Torpedoes to port.
So, things are looking up. The West Virginia prevailed. The Lyon got taken out as expected. But it's 4 against 4, and the friendlies are in the process of capturing B, which should put them ahead in caps. Hatsuharu coming in with a smoke screen. Nice of the Hatsuharu. Wouldn't be needed because the Flint has her own. But I mean, why not? Unfortunately, the tail now lacks spotting. So Striker is trying to fire blindly a little bit, hoping to get a hit in somewhere. I mean, he's also on pretty low health. If that Colorado makes a good guess at where he is sitting, then it could spell his demise. Now we could really use that Hatsuharu spotting. The problem, of course, is we don't know how close the Colorado is. If the Hatsuharu leaves his smoke here and he gets detected, then he stands to eat a lot of damage, and he doesn't have his smoke ready because he just used it. So the Hatsuharu could have just left the smoke in the other direction. Be safer. But at least we have vision again. Colorado is getting farmed quite nicely. He's thankfully already on pretty low health. The Leo in the back also seems to be on pretty low health, so that Leo is probably also done for. We now have the carrier also around to help sink some ships and provide some spotting. And even if the smoke screen here would run out, oh, the smoke screen is running out, so he's immediately deploying his own smoke screen. Wouldn't want to risk getting shot here. And the Leon tries a desperate blind shot but misses. There's the Kraken. Now we have a Miyoko incoming. Well, I mean, the enemy is down to 2 ships, and it's very like, okay, the enemy can't really win this at this point, I presume, because the friendly still have a carrier that can just sail away in the corner and probably take care of the remaining enemies and definitely survive, because the friendlies just have too much points. So all that is left to farm a little bit more damage and enjoy this victory. And see if our Flint here can't just get a kill on the Miyoko. Almost there, and there you go.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Now it looks like that the friendly team managed to lose the destroyer, which prolonged the game slightly more. Carrier going in for the New Orleans. So if the carrier gets a hit here, then that would be it, but anyway. There might be torps still incoming from the Miyoko. But even if Striker gets torped here, it won't change the outcome of this battle. He's trying to turn his ship around to face the New Orleans in the sea cap. Will he make the turn before he... Oh, yeah, there are the torps.
Torpedoes
I
astern.
think he's going to dodge them. Not that it matters, I think they're winning by points anyway. And here we are with the results. Striker earned himself 3,107 base experience. That's quite a lot. It's also like about twice as much as the second person in the team achieved. So very nicely done. Earned himself a Confederate devastating striker Kraken in the high caliber, scoring 155,000 points of damage and sinking 6 enemies. And I thought it was a pretty enjoyable match. I hope you enjoyed watching it too. And I'll see you guys next time.